So going back to working from home, yeah, it's antisocial. Hybrid maybe is the thing. Sort of 3 days in an office, 2 days at home, or vice versa. Or you don't work a 40 or 50-hour week all the time, do you? You might work part of a day, which you might meet people during, and then you might go home, or you might meet other people. There's ways of mixing things up, I think. So my plan is to sort of ease into the idea that the campus is over, or that student accommodation might have a limited life, or at least that's something worth discussing in various ways, because I don't get much response to that question, or at least not from university people. But there's a press story I saw this week, which I've been following up, which was in the Guardian, page 27 on Monday. Disabled people could be shut out of jobs by decline in remote working, and so it goes on to say that there's pressure now from a lot of organisations to get people back in the office, and it's for various reasons. Some organisations have got a lot of office space still, and they would like to use it for something, but also they I think it's a loss of control. I think there's still quite a lot of evidence that it's perfectly effective to be working from home, and for quite a few groups of people, people with childcare, people who can't move about a lot, there's lots of people who benefit and appreciate it, and put in more energy, I think, just to keep those situations going. I'm not sure about how that works, but that's the sort of thing they're researching, and it's Manchester Metropolitan, but also Lancaster and the Work Foundation, which is part of Lancaster. The Work Foundation's in London. So all of that is interesting, because I've some of the conferences and things that I've been to around this area have been in Lancaster, and the Work Foundation's been part of that. So that all of that is interesting, and I think the research project, I can't see how many months it's been going on, but it's something like 3 years of study. So they've been interviewing people who've been working from home or have been moved into not working from home over that period of time, and that's following on from the lockdown phases when a lot of things moved online. So university courses changed, and the office changed, and I don't think that the campus situation has been studied in the same way. I think the university management has just moved it back to the campus, and the online idea has gone. But it comes back indirectly through this sort of study. So the fact they've been doing their questionnaires is interesting, but also how did it come about? Looking back at the last five years or so, 10 years maybe, because a lot of these trends started before lockdown. I think looking at this, there's going to be a discussion about the university as well as the research. So and radio, how radio fits into this, because without a doubt, the audience is listening to social media sources or streaming sources as much as broadcast or linear, whatever you want to call it. And also it's quite possible to create sound files at home. I do agree with Hum that it's better to meet up every so often, but clearly sound can be created in all sorts of places and consumed in all sorts of places. You don't have to be in a cinema or a theatre or a studio. And there's a related discussion about what's happening with the cameras. And I would just like to keep asking the question, given the amount of building that's going on in Exeter for student accommodation, whether the campus model will last indefinitely or however long you expect those buildings to last. I just think that's a reasonable question. But anyway,